etc. Another team out west that's struggling is the Golden State Warriors. They lost to the T-Wolves last night, are now just a half game ahead of the Grizzlies for the second seed in the West. Wendy, what's your read on what's going on with Golden State?
Yeah, they got three problems. Number one, Draymond Green is injured, and we still don't have a good timetable when he's coming back, which isn't a surprise because it's a back injury. Number two, they're just weak at the big man spot. Karl Anthony Towns did a number on them last night, especially when they had to take Kevon Looney off the court. And number three, their shooters are in a slump. You go back and look since February 1st, when they have a losing record, look at these shooting percentages. Jordan Poole, a guy who was absolutely spectacular while Klay Thompson was rehabbing earlier this year, since he's gone to the bench role, can't hit a shot. You put those three things together in a conference where you expect to get it every single night, you're going to lose some games. That's what's happening.
Wendy, I know Poole is really good free throw shooter, and that usually indicates consistency shooting the three or shooting from distance. But I thought when they put this team together last year, other than Steph, every other player on the team, there was not one other plus shooter at any position. Wiggins had a great shooting, but his career doesn't tell you he's a plus shooter for a two, right? Draymond can't shoot from the outside. He's not a plus shooter for a four. They don't have the shooting, right? I mean, even Poole is not a great shooter until last year. They all kind of shot above their heads last year.
Well, but Poole was shooting the ball great early in this season. And, they did get Klay Thompson back, and he's been okay. It's just that Poole, frankly, Steph has not shot the ball well all year. This is arguably his worst shooting season in 10 years. And Jordan Poole, you thought when you moved him to the second unit, he would be able to sort of, control games a little bit. His usage rate, which is, how many, much he's used in the offense, has been actually lower. So just everything isn't coming together for them right now.
Matt, what's your level of concern for Golden State at this moment?
My concern is Draymond Green's health, first and foremost. This team doesn't stand a chance in the playoffs without him. With a healthy him and Klay in rhythm, this team can win a championship. I don't think people understand what kind of security blanket he is on the defensive end, what they've been struggling in, and how he's able to run the offense. If you look at this team when they're really rolling, Draymond Green has the ball in his hands, making a lot of the big decisions to get Steph open, in the past to get Klay open, and then getting these role players going as well. So I think Draymond Green's numbers are very deceiving as far as how important he is for this team's success.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the irreducible two of the Golden State Warriors, as we know them, that modernized, revolutionized offense, are Steph and Dre, actually, his pick and roll partner, his do everything point forward, small ball center, everything guy, 100%. That's Matt Barnes and Brian Windhorst, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, guys. Gronk on the beach taking a picture with a couple of young ladies. Mike T, I hear there is a very important person there with Gronk. Who is it?
Well, Gronk is obviously in the middle. The one on the right is my daughter, Ella, a pending Michigan freshman, and her good friend, Jordana. And where there's a Gronk, there's a Brady. They wanted to find out if Tom Brady's coming back, so they were scouring the beaches of Boca Raton and pinned down Gronk to try to get some scoop for us, Max.
One thing is clear. She has a very pretty mama. That much is clear. All right. He's done more winning than anyone in the league when he's been healthy in the last several years, and that's Jimmy Garoppolo. May I once again bring up Jimmy G, especially if you can get him for a second and a fifth? Jimmy G would kill it in Pittsburgh. Jimmy G. Or especially Pittsburgh gets a guy like Garoppolo, they could mess around and win a Super Bowl. They're right. Let me just remind everyone, the Niners, the last two seasons where Jimmy G was healthy, went to the Super Bowl and went to the NFC Championship game. Do people think that's an accident? Time to talk more Jimmy G. In an article for ESPN.com, Field Yates predicted the starting quarterbacks for each of the 32 NFL teams next season. Some of the notables include Aaron Rodgers staying with the Pack, Russell Wilson staying with the Seahawks, Carson Wentz going to the Commanders, and Jimmy G landing in Pittsburgh. So let's play a game of Believe It or Not, and let's start with Jimmy G and the Steelers. Field Yates predicts the Niners quarterback will be wearing black and yellow in 2022. Mike T, not that Mike T, this one. Believe it or not, Mike Tannenbaum.
No, and no. Jimmy G is going nowhere. He is on a good team. He needs to stay in San Francisco. He will not be the starting quarterback for the Steelers, Max.
If I were San Francisco, I wouldn't let him go anywhere. If I still believe in Trey Lance, great, give him another year. Let him beat Jimmy G out. And until then, I have an excellent quarterback. But Jimmy G seems to think that he is on his way out. So the best I can say for the Steelers situation is I hope for it. He's just the kind of guy Mike Tomlin could win a Super Bowl with. Who will the quarterback be, Mike T, in Pittsburgh?
Oh, that's easy. You want to win a Super Bowl? Go get Russell Wilson. This is the essence of a win-win because the Seahawks are in a rebuild. Go give up multiple first-round picks. If you're the Steelers, you have a championship head coach in Mike Tomlin. You have a championship defense. You add Russell Wilson. It's hard to say this, Max, but now they could close the gap on the Cincinnati Bengals. So to me, if I'm the Steelers, I'm all in, and I'm going to go get Russell Wilson and compete to win a championship right now.
Russell Wilson's better than Jimmy Garoppolo, right? One of the reasons I think Garoppolo's an attractive quarterback is because I don't think he would cost that much, right? Russell Wilson's multiple firsts. Jimmy G, maybe you get for a second and change. I don't know. I don't know what the market is for him. You think he gives you that much of a premium over Jimmy G? Let's say it was a second and a fifth for Jimmy G, 2 firsts and change for Russell Wilson. You think he's that much better than Jimmy G?
Absolutely. Super Bowl champion. He's just a better thrower of the football. He's just at another level. And given his age and what Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady have done, I think you get at least 5 or 7 years. And besides last year, he's been remarkably healthy. So he's durable, productive. I'll give up a couple of first-round picks, and I'll go compete with him.
All right, let's move on to Super Bowl champion Russell Wilson in that case. So Fields predicts Russ will continue cooking in Seattle next season. Russ told the Today Show yesterday, as long as you didn't tell the Yesterday Show today, that Seattle is the place I'm at right now, and I love it. So Mike T, we know you don't believe it because you like Russ in Pittsburgh. Who do you see as the Seahawks quarterback in 2022?
He's the centerpiece of my rebuild. It's Kenny Pickett. So I'm going to get 2 first-round picks from the Steelers and another draft choice. I'm drafting Kenny Pickett, ironically, from the University of Pittsburgh, and he's the centerpiece of my rebuild. We got to understand this, Max. The Seahawks are the worst team in the NFC West. Let's go get a young quarterback, multiple picks. Let John Schneider and Pete Carroll give them 2 years to get this thing right. And I would start with a young quarterback that we could build around, and that would be Kenny Pickett.
You know, I hear you. I don't know who it would be, but Mike, I wouldn't try to invent that guy. In other words, if you look at the draft, I don't see a real franchise quarterback, a surefire guy here. I would just start building the infrastructure. You build the offensive line. If there's a special defensive piece, you put all the other pieces in place, and you wait for the quarterback. That would be my strategy, but I was never the GM of an AFC championship team. That's true, and you were. If Kyler Murray stays with the Cardinals long term, it looks like it will be with Cliff Kingsbury at the helm. Why the Cards chose to send